welcome to the eCom Ops podcast. My name is Norbert, and today I'm talking to Sandeep and to Roy from, sorry guys, we start again, not Roy, Rob.
Okay, Rob.
So let me start again. 3, 2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the eCom Ops podcast, and today I'm talking to Rob and Sandeep. They have two companies that we're talking about today. It's IBizSoft, the first company related to e-commerce from Sandeep. And what should I tell you about the companies? I have the founders here. So Rob, Sandeep, give us a bit more info about yourself.
About Ibisoft, we founded Ibisoft in 2001. Ibisoft is primarily a service-oriented company handling all e-commerce related implementations for huge companies like Starbucks, TaylorMade Golf, for Big Pens, for McGraw-Hill, for Fila. So we implemented almost 200 plus e-commerce solutions for these companies the past 19 years, with integration to Oracle and various other payment processors. We are one of the most sought after PCI compliant payment processing solution services company as well. Mm-hmm. So companies like Cisco, Nintendo, Verizon, so there were so many of them that came to us for PCI compliance on Oracle, SAP kind of ERP applications. So 2015 is when we founded eComchain, because we learned implementing more than half a dozen other e-commerce platforms, and we learned how not to implement certain features. We came up with a better idea of putting together a B2B2C e-commerce platform, because certain companies do only B2B, certain e-commerce platforms do only B2C, but we said, let's provide a B2B2C where a manufacturer can talk to the distributor through the B2B platform. The distributor and the dealer can set up their own B2C platform or the site on the same eComchain platform. So B2B storefront is for manufacturer to distributor or dealer, and dealer to end consumers would be B2C on the same eComchain platform. Okay. So what happens is the manufacturer is able to see the entire supply chain from all the way from their shop floor to the end consumers.
Wow,
and also the end consumers are able to figure out what exactly is going on, with the products. Manufacturer is able to get feedback from the consumers also.
That's great. So actually, you have a platform where the producer can create, let's say, an account and a storefront to sell to the distributors, and the distributors pick up at the same level, create a storefront for their end users, can sell the goods that they purchase from the producer, and everything is built into one piece of software.
Yes.
Wow,
that is the uniqueness about eComchain.
Yeah, this is really powerful. How did you get into e-commerce at all? So what was the reason why we jumped into e-commerce?
So it was very interesting. This is way back in 2000 when I used to work for Oracle Corporation. Mm-hmm. Oracle had just launched their flagship Oracle iStore way back in 2000. By 2001, I realized that there are better ways to support a client. So that's when I quit Oracle and started Ibisoft. Yeah. And that's when I went to the other side of the fence and started supporting all those Oracle iStore customers. And that included Oracle iPayments, Oracle iMarketing, Oracle iSupport. So all that put together, we had a very good solution, a one-stop shop solution.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Ibisoft was all about.
Yeah, cool. And what role does, if any role, does automation play in your e-commerce operations?
So e-commerce automation, we actually put in a lot of AI, artificial intelligence, using data science. So we have put in almost a year's worth of effort putting the algorithms together based on the past performance or past search. What did they view, the last products that they viewed? What are the last products that they ordered? Which particular location the customer is coming from? That's one. Second is we also gave features related to GPS. For example, a customer is close to the store, say 1 or 2 kilometers or 2 miles away from the store. We can show a pop-up, saying that visit our store, you get a 10% off. So that also the geo tracking is also something that we added. A lot of other pieces related to marketing campaigns, where it is automated, depending on how your products are doing, when do you want to send out your marketing campaigns. So we can add those automation as well.
And we're talking about e-commerce here, and especially I know a lot of producers and retailers that have a local ERP software or any kind of POS system, mostly installed on a Windows machine. How does this matter for your solution? So do you connect them somehow, or is this something that is not even requested anymore?
So very, very good question. We actually come with a lot of ERP experience. More than 19 to 20 years, we've been implementing ERP, like Oracle, SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, JD Edwards, Zoho, Odoo. We realized that there is not a single e-commerce platform out there who understands both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
So e-commerce have to talk to ERP at some point, whether it's for product information, whether it's for pricing, whether it's for order creation. So all that information today, eComchain is able to talk to more than half a dozen ERP applications out there. And it is all pre-integrated. We can turn on, turn off features. So for example, US is using Oracle, Europe could be using SAP, Asia Pacific could be using, say, Microsoft Dynamics. So each storefront can have their own ERP integration by just turning on the features for that particular ERP in their region.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
And do you connect using standards like API, or is there typical also direct database integrations or text-based files?
Yeah, so basically we are into the latest of the technology now. We are using open source mean stack technology. So RESTful APIs are very important for us. So what we have done is to talk to these ERP applications in real time. So we started putting together all the APIs related to real-time integration. So anytime an order gets created, it's pushed to ERP directly. Same way, if you need to capture information from ERP into eComchain's platform, into eComchain storefront, we can pull the information from ERP, similar like inventory item description or the pricing information, all that can be pulled. We also have developed microservices for those who do not have an e-commerce platform and they don't want to move out of their content management system. We can actually provide that integration into ERP directly from their existing website using microservices.
Wow, that's very interesting. From your extensive experience working with e-com businesses, what sets the winners apart from the rest?
So what we noticed is every customer who has come to us, they admire and they commend our work mainly because we are a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
We follow the sun from a 24-hour support perspective, and because we are a one-stop shop, they expect most of the solutions to be pre-developed or plan a development process so that they don't have to implement any other third-party application. So that's where we have really won our customers, and because they realize they don't have to reach out to anybody else once they come to us, whether it's e-commerce or whether it's ERP or whether it's any other integration that they're looking for. They don't need any other agency or a reseller or a partner to do that. We can do this ourselves.
That's cool. And what's your typical business? So what's your typical customer that you have from the size?
Yeah, so a very interesting question. So when we started off in 2001, all our clients were enterprise level clients, and they are still sitting on 20-year-old technologies out there. So we realized that they are best fit for eComchain because eComchain has got the latest technology with a lot of features that's already preloaded, drag and drop, and the content management system. So many of these enterprise level customers who are like $1 billion plus have started using eComchain, and they have a very unique B2B2C model. So it's really in their best interest to use eComchain because they are not able to use any other technology from a B2B2C perspective. That's one. But we never said no to any other small to mid-sized companies either. whoever wants solutions that we have developed, we have always felt that small to mid-size can grow to an enterprise level using eComchain. So that's the benefit that we give here. And we would love to see that happen. So we are always there to handhold small to mid-size companies, make sure that they reach that level where they can scale using e-commerce platforms.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting, and you have a very good knowledge of e-commerce, of course, because you do it for really a long time now. Do you have seen any common mistakes that e-com businesses make when they design their operations?
Yeah. So we learned a lot from our mistakes. We learned how exactly not to implement certain e-commerce features. We want to make everything out of the box. Yeah. Most of the e-commerce platforms that's out there, they don't really understand what the customers really need. So we are actually very, very inclined to understand what the customer's needs are. Based on that, we go ahead and develop a solution, and we are able to put that through in the market. Mm-hmm. Most of the e-commerce platforms that I've noticed or I've seen is they're very technology oriented. They're not really business oriented. What we have done is we are very business oriented because we have worked with such big companies like Starbucks or TaylorMade Golf or McGraw-Hill or Fila. We understand what exactly their requirement is, and it's based on that we develop these solutions. And that's the reason why eComchain has become a humongous product with all the features that the customers are looking for. So that definitely sets us apart from the rest of the e-commerce platforms.
Uh-huh. Now, what I see a lot is we have every week we have 1 or 2 interviews, and I have a lot of interviews with Shopify store owners. Yeah, what is the huge difference? So why do I set up a Shopify store, and when do I come to you and start a real project?
So Shopify has been in business for a long time, maybe more than 15 years. So they definitely have a great traction. We are, 4 or 5 years now since we started eComchain, but we come with a lot of experience from other e-commerce implementations that we have done. Mm-hmm. We have seen what Shopify can do. It's a great product in itself. There are people who would like to go for Shopify because, it's good for small to mid-size kind of organizations. And it is not too expensive for a small business to get started, a startup kind of an organization. However, what eComchain has done is we have actually put together different product lines for small businesses, for mid-sized businesses, and for enterprise level businesses. So whatever other e-commerce platforms are offering, we are able to offer 10 times more than that for the same price. So that is what sets us apart from, e-commerce platforms like Shopify. And once again, Shopify is more of a volume business. We are more of a quality business because we believe in providing the quality with lesser number of customers for now. At the same time, we have plans to scale it up with the same, without disturbing or without hampering the quality. So we want to continue doing that and scale it up in such a way that the quality is never affected.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Rob, what is your job in the company? What do you regularly do?
So basically, I'm in charge of the business development, and I work on primarily on sales, but I do a lot of other things as it relates to marketing, helping to market the company. Certainly being a newer company, we're trying to leverage those things that are low cost or no cost, things like we do a lot of postings on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, things like that. We've been doing a lot of blogging lately. But we've also gotten involved in some other things this past year with the COVID-19. We've gotten involved with a lot of virtual exhibitions, if you will. There's an organization called the Small Business Administration here in the U.S. that we participated in their expo, and it was very successful. We had, in fact, we were one of the featured speakers, and we had over 350 people attend our 45-minute webinar that we did as part of the show.
Oh, wow, that's great.
It was a pretty cool show because we had a virtual booth where you could go in and you could, just like you were walking a trade show floor,
Mm-hmm.
and you could click on different things to get brochures or YouTube videos or things like this, just information about the company, and put it in your basket, if you will, as a show participant. It was pretty cool. So we've been working on a lot of innovative ways to try to get our name out there. I think from my perspective, the biggest challenge that we have, as with any other company that's younger, is building our brand name. Right now, if you were to ask people on the street who eComchain is versus somebody like an Oracle, most likely they're going to know Oracle, but they wouldn't know eComchain. So the way that we're going to build the brand is what we've been doing, and that is making sure that from a sales and service perspective, is that we're making sure that we absolutely positively deliver the best experience for our customers. And if there's any question about that, you can certainly go to Gartner. I'm sure you know Gartner. They have a thing called Gartner Peer Insights.
Yeah.
And also G2, which was formerly G2 Crowd. And if you read those reviews, those are truly the testimonials of our customers and their feedback. And that will tell you a lot about how we run our business and the service levels that we provide. So as Sandeep mentioned, we do have offices around the world, so we're able to offer support 24/7, 365.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's really where it is. And no offense to any of the others like Oracle or Shopify, but that's where we can really make a mark and make a difference, is offering that extra level of service. Because when something goes wrong with your site, you don't want to wait a day or two for it to be fixed.
Yeah.
We have obviously different levels of service that we provide, but I would say most of the time we're answering calls and solving problems within an hour. So, that's really what sets us apart. And again,
So
we're just
support is really something that is in general in e-commerce. It doesn't matter if you are a shop owner and sell your goods to people, or if you are the provider of the software and sell your tool to the shop owners. Support is really one of the most important factors that can make your company grow further.
right.
Yep.
And as Sandeep mentioned earlier, the quality of what we do, that speaks volumes for, how we treat our customers and how they feel about us, and how they would recommend us to others, because this business is a lot about word of mouth. People don't want to get stung with a product that's not going to do what they want. So the fact that we've got a lot of clients that speak pretty highly about us to other prospective clients is a big plus.
Yeah, fully can agree to that. That this is an important factor. Rob, how did you get into e-commerce?
That's a good question. You can tell I wasn't born yesterday. But basically, I spent quite a few years actually in the retail industry. I started actually back in the 1980s working for a company called Marshall Fields in Chicago. It was kind of a boutique department store, and then later went on to join a company called Land's End, which is a direct merchant of both clothing and home. They were getting into the home business, and I helped them start up their home catalog. And then more recently, I guess 16, 17 years ago, I joined JCPenney in Dallas because they were looking for somebody that had the experience in international sourcing and product development, which was my area of expertise, if you will, working with manufacturers and distributors. So long story short, fast forward to just about 3-4 years ago, I ran into Sandeep at a networking event, and I told him what I did. And he said, well, that's pretty interesting. I think we have an opportunity to talk some more about it. And I thought, what would I be doing with an IT company? But then later on to find out, this whole thing with the B2B and the B2C, it just made perfect sense. So it makes me feel really good about, kind of having a new life, if you will. And it's been exciting for me. It's been a challenge, but it's been very exciting and very rewarding too as well. We've had a lot of great success. Very good.
I can imagine that. So it's a different way, but it's really cool to know the basics of being a retailer, being in the retail branch and working with clients directly and going into the other end of the chain finally.
Trying to sell some product.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah. So guys, the last question in my interviews always is, who has taught you the most about e-commerce in your career? So who has taught you the most about e-commerce so far?
So from my perspective, it's the experience that we gained from all the other implementations. As I said, 200 plus enterprise level e-commerce that we implemented. We learned a lot. We used to be in Seattle 2 years at the Starbucks headquarters. I mean, we learned a lot from there. You know, we learned a lot from TaylorMade's B2B implementation. Our team is still sitting. I mean, they are there for the past 5 years. We learn from every other business. So it's a business who is teaching us more than the technology. I enjoy working with the business to understand what their business processes are, what the supply chain looks like, what are their challenges, what is it that we can do to improve their business. Because ultimately technology needs to be helping the business. It should not be the other way around. You know, so the technology is supposed to make sure that the business operations are smoother and they're able to generate the revenue that they're looking for.
Okay.
So we learn a lot from the business. Yeah.
You learn a lot from your customers. That's great. That's really a great philosophy. It's very valid, because from every customer you can learn more about what the need is on the market, and this totally makes sense. Rob, from your end,
well, I would say my first exposure to it was back in 1990 when I went to work for Lands' End. They started up an e-commerce business. If you go back far enough, obviously there used to be paper catalogs.
Yeah, I know that.
But the bottom line is they decided to start up, and long and short of it, within a short period of time, the business grew so big that they built a separate building on campus to handle the B2B business. So that was an early indication to me that this was something that was here to stay. And of course, we were using multi-channel at JCPenney. So when the opportunity came by with Sandeep to get into more depth with e-commerce and helping other businesses out, that to me was really the greatest opportunity of all that I've mentioned, is that, to be able to work with so many different types of businesses, not just one, but many, and different types of businesses. It's just absolutely fascinating. So I really appreciate the opportunity that Sandeep gave to me to come on board with eComchain.
Cool. Yeah, guys, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I just want to recap a few things that that I found out today again. It's really a very interesting product to have the opportunity to have the producer on the one end selling to the distributor, and the distributor in the same platform selling to the end user. So B2B to C is really a very new approach for a software product. This is giving something very special. It's a market that is very interesting, and also for shop owners, if you think about going online with a new store and you are a producer, this is something you should consider to really look on the entire market of e-commerce solutions. This is anyway, always what I recommend to really take a look. There's so many great tools out there, and a lot of those tools have different use cases that can cover all your needs. So guys, thank you very much again. I wish you good luck with your software products and with this COVID crisis. Stay safe.
Thanks a lot, Robert. Take care.